Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another AFL Fantasy Fanatics Friday afternoon pre-lockout chat ahead of round 19. And apologies in advance. I've had a bit of a head cold the last couple of days, so it might sound a little bit nasally than usual, a little bit more blocked up. But we are here still, regardless, battling through a little bit of illness there. So hopefully it'll disappear within the next day or so. I'm your host, Bales, and you can find BAILSDT across the socials. And joining me is my fellow co-host, AFL Fantasy Fanatic. He's jumping all the pods to be at the moment. It's fantastic to see. We've got another AFL Fantasy Fanatic jumping on very shortly, but it is Tom who's doing both the men's and the women's pods with us at the moment. Tom, mate, full steam ahead for the AFL Fantasy Fanatics, mate. But how are you as we head into round 19 of the AFL men's season?
Yeah, good. I mean, another bullet, another week.
Yeah,
What's new?
It's uncanny. It really is. As I posted today, like with the Max Holmes injury news, I was just like, another week, another injury. Like we're sort of, I'm not really angry at this point. I'm just like, are you the same? I just expect it now. I'm just like, there's an injury coming.
Yeah. I mean,
who is it?
From a very purely selfish point of view, like he's so highly owned in the top kind of 1%, like 90% owned. Yeah. So it's like we're not losing anything, and if you don't own him, you're getting a good leg up, which is great for those coaches who don't own him. But most people do, so it's kind of like, meh, we all deal with it next week and move on.
And a lot of people brought him in this week as well, because you look at the matchups he had, like St Kilda this week, he had Melbourne, he had Collingwood, Richmond, Essendon, like it was like a beautiful run on the way home. And unfortunately,
I brought him in last week for the same reason.
Yeah, I did as well. I brought him in last week. So yeah, just unfortunate. For anyone that did miss the news, obviously, for that we will sort of recap the game from last night. Obviously, the big news out of that one was that Max Holmes did an ankle slasher, I think fractured ankle and syndesmosis both. So that's going to be obviously longer than Zach Butters. That is probably that's regular season done. I can't see him back before then, and that may cut in the finals. You'd probably say so. It is a little bit disappointing with that one there. And he was traded. He was in the top 10 most traded in. So he was the seventh most traded in player. 4,363 coaches jumped on him this week. And I dare say that last week he was right up there as well in the top 10. I think he was close towards the top 5. So, yeah, very, very disappointing there as well that he is going to be out injured on 69. In terms of the other scores, I think we knew this was going to happen, Tom, but Ryan Marshall, 139. Absolutely dominated. Probably as they said, by numbers wise, it was his career best game, which is pretty crazy considering how many big scores he's had in his career. But obviously last night it was very impactful. A lot of people had the VC and the C on him. I think he had 33 touches. He had the most contested possessions in, I think, St Kilda history that they've recorded stats. I think McRae had 25 at one point. I'm sure that would have been like a 40-odd disposal game. But 26 or 27 of his 33 touches were contested. So just showing getting in under, doing all the work. 2 goals, 4 marks, 2 tackles. So only 4 marks, 2 tackles there, still to get 139. So I'm assuming you'll be taking that VC.
Yes. In short, yes. Yeah. I actually think you obviously, I think moderately unlucky to only get 2 tackles. The few there that he was an effective tackle, but it bobbled to a Geelong player, so wasn't a tackle. It was just an awesome performance. He was awesome around the ground. Unfortunately, we got the news from Ross after the game that they expect TDK back next week, which I don't understand. I know, but because it's 1.7 million a year, you can't have that in the VFL. They're going to play him.
Yeah, which is, and because I think that if you look at the ladder, I don't think St Kilda are pretty much out of it now. Oh no, they're in the 10th. They're not out of it, so they're still right in the mix, right? So they're probably just saying, well, we want to play him because he's getting our best side and everything. But Marshall's a number 1 rack, and if he's not there at St Kilda home, hopefully he can move to another club like a Geelong. Maybe that was a pretty good audition last night to be going to Geelong, because I think he'd be pretty useful there at the moment, or at least even another team. I think I heard a rumor that if English leaves the Dogs, there's a spot the Dogs. That would be, imagine that role at the Bulldogs, going from a high-scoring team in St Kilda to another high-scoring team in the Dogs could be pretty fruitful. Yeah. So just watch this space, obviously, in the off-season for that one. But Ryan Marshall, obviously, very, very good score from him, and we'll be all taking that VC score from him. Baz, 118. That was really from 2 and a bit quarters, to be honest. He copped the Windhager tag midway through the second quarter, right up until probably 5 or so minutes, 10 minutes into about 5 minutes or so in the last quarter. Then it sort of got released there, and he absolutely racked up. So like first quarter, he had 38 touches. Last quarter, he had 29 touches, mostly after that tag got lifted. So 118, we're all very happy with that. Again, he was probably a bit the same time with the tackles, only one tackle when he laid a fair few. And just, you used to this in a group chat, we feel like that the tackles are being very, they're being a lot harsher on them. They're not paying those easy ones that they might have done in the past or whatever. They're just sort of like, if it bobbles out and falls in lap of a teammate, it could be bouncing for 20 meters. But if a teammate picks it up, it's not counter tackle, which I think is ridiculous. But what it is. But
and like the arm across in the kicking motion isn't even whoever it goes to isn't being classed anymore. I feel I've got nothing to behind this. This is just me watching how I feel. That there's things I'm expecting to be tackles, and I look because like, oh no,
I agree.
Given.
I agree.
But it's just what it is, and probably we want tackles given that are actually tackles, not fantasy tackles. So I'm not gonna complain too much.
Yeah. The ones that I think should be paid, and we're not going to go long in this, right? But the ones that should be paid is the ones where a player kicks for goal, player gets a tackle, and it goes through behind. I'm like, that's an effective tackle. You've affected them not kicking the goal. But I don't think they're not normally tackled. They're only counted if it goes out of bounds or anything like that. But anyway, Baz, 118, very happy with that one there.
Nice.
Darcy Wilson, he was a pod that we flagged on Tuesday, I may flagged on the Wednesday trade talk that he was a bit of a pod option you could go for. 112, he's pretty much gone over 80, 85 for the better part of 2 months and getting it done. So I think there's a really good reason why a lot of teams out there are trying to get his services in the AFL because he's a very good player. Garcia, 104 as well. Again, he's smashing it. So like St Kilda got a lot of players smashing it at the moment. There, Grind Myers, 103. Are we still just not going there with the knee? Is that just, are we just nervous that could just go at any point? So we just leave it, letting that through to the keeper?
He's not as cheap as what I thought he was going to be.
He's
like he's priced at
mid 800s.
He is 800, exactly 800.
Yeah.
I was expecting he was going to be another 100k cheaper, and then I was like, yes, get on. But 800k, there's just that unknown with his body. But he looked much better physically. And he has got a body of work in the VFL as well. Like he has been playing through this. So
yeah, 4 games, I think 5 games.
So it's extremely poddy, and I'm not going to talk anyone out of it. If you want to go for someone who's like a proven scorer, which nobody owns, it looks very good. Yeah,
exactly. Max Hall was another one that was impressive. He ended up having the 101, so as a bit of a pod as well. And then Matheus Filippo as Taze jumps on and joins us for the pod. Taze, mate, how's things? How'd last night go for you? I think we've got him. He keeps putting his on mute. Yeah, is he here? We got him.
I think I'm here, mate.
Okay, yeah, we got you. How's things, mate? How was last night for you?
Yeah, not too bad. I avoided the Max Holmes injury. Yes. And I got Romar VC, so I'm pretty happy with that. Yes. Got nailed Baz, so yeah.
Yeah, no, nicely done, mate, there. And we say kissed, but at the same time, this year, if you can take any tiny win, you certainly take that. That is for sure. But Matheus Filippo, Taze, 99 last night. He's cheap and he's playing a lot more midfield. Is he a potential option for coaches as early as next week? Well, not as early as next week, just an option to bring in next week.
He has my interest, absolutely. I probably need to do a little bit more of a dive, but I think when he's got that role, he's an option.
Yeah, great. Yeah, he's just getting it done. He had the was it the second most CBAs? Second most CBAs behind Hugo Garcia, and he had 22 CBAs. Filippo Garcia had 23. So it was those two at the front. So yeah, I think that for sure he's going to be someone that could be an option if you've got some DPP next week, or you're upgrade, or you even got a bit of a sideways shuffle from Chris Petrarca, because it's night and day between Filippo and Petrarca at the moment there, how times have changed this year. Brad Hill saved his score as well, got to an 88 in the end, so that's all we can ask of Preens. If they're having a bad game, at least save your score to something respectable. Naz did the same thing as well, got to a 76. Mullen, that was probably the hardest tag I've seen from Mullen all year, and he sort of stayed within the whole game. So end up getting the 76 with a 30-point last quarter, as we do have another Fantasy Fanatic jumping on. Wasn't sure if this man would be jumping on fresh off of a early postseason trip to Bali with the kids. Guesty, mate, how was Bali?
Yeah, mate. End of season trips come early this year. School holidays with the kids. Spent a week in Bali, so that was great. I was completely freaking out, as you guys saw on the messenger last night, about who am I meant to bring in and what am I meant to do. But back in Perth now, in good old rainy Perth, and I don't think there's anything I need to panic about, but I thought rather than sending a message to the messaging group, I'd just bloody jump on my own podcast and see what's going on.
Yeah, exactly right, mate.
How are we, boys? How is everyone?
Yeah, good. I think the question for me, that you said raining, right? But is it raining and it's still nice weather? Like, is it still warm, still nice weather? Because here, when it rains at the moment, it's absolutely freezing.
It's actually been relatively warm. Yeah, it's been relatively warm. I saw a story that apparently we'd had the hottest July day on record, or some shit like that. So I don't know. I don't think it's too cold. It was pretty bloody wet when we got in via the plane. Got the kids, everyone's soaked trying to get back to the car. But yeah, I don't know. We don't have a game on tonight here or anything. Or where are the games this week?
See that shows how out of touch Guesty is with being in Bali. He's not where the fixtures are. No, we got the Crows in Sydney tonight. I believe that's is it 7:10 Adelaide, so 7:40 Eastern, 5:40 Perth time start. So just the one game tonight. No overlapping, which is so nice.
Should be a bit of a training drill for the Swannies tonight, by the look of it.
I'm just going to brush past that one. We're going to keep going. Anyway, Wilkie was unfortunately struggled a little bit last night with a 56 there. And Sean Manor also a bit of an injury with a 44 hamstring tightness. So a few people may have jumped there as a bit of a pod. But he, I'm not sure if he missed any weeks, but he just missed a little bit of the game last night. We do have a couple of super chats here, which we'll get to now, and then we'll go through our trades and what the week is looking like. So Tim's got first super chat. Thank you, mate. He's asking here. I did Errol Goulden and Artemis last night. I forgot to get Marshall, and what happened? No watch on last night. Well, yeah, so firstly, Tim, good trades like the Goulden and Artemis in the 230K. It's good to get 230K at this time of the year. In terms of no watch on last night, I just didn't. Yeah, just feeling under the weather last night, so just couldn't get up to do a watch long for 3 hours. So yeah, sorry for those that were looking forward to that. I was looking forward to it as well. It was a good game, but yeah, unfortunately, just a bit of head cold meant I just thought I'd be better off having the night off, recovering and getting ready for this one here. Corey Bladge,
hey boys, before we go to the next one, sorry, Artemis, what do we think his scoring's going to be like? I mean, he seems like the trade-in for sure, but yeah, what do we anticipate in terms of scoring? Probably
not amazing. Not the Bombers, and the fact that I was surprised he debuted and he stuffed up my week. That's for sure. He only had like 19 touches in the VFL last week, so I was surprised he did come in. I didn't think he was any chance, but I guess that Essendon are just trying to get these young guys in. I think he's a 50, 55, I think, but
yeah, he's going to play on a wing. That's almost certain.
Yeah,
I'm looking through the Essendon side, and I count about 20 defenders. Like, they've got Clark and Artemis on the wings, with Farrow, Pryor, and Congo Giannis on the bench.
Yeah,
that's 23. Yeah. So I'm a little bit worried about Farrow's role this week. Like, could they move him?
Everyone from the half forward line and back into defender.
Yeah, I know.
It's turned into soccer. We don't talk about soccer anymore on this podcast because the World Cup doesn't exist. No, like, as in just putting 23 behind the ball, and we're Ross the boss strategy. We put everyone behind the ball and just make it tough.
Yeah. So I guess we'll see how he goes. But he's we'll get to my trades. But he's stuffed a few things up for me. So thanks, Artemis, for debuting the one I didn't want you to.
I can't wait for your trades, Bills.
Yeah. We've got a super chat here, a very generous super chat here from Corey Blackledge. So thank you very much for this one, mate. He says, I think I just won the lottery. No Holmes trade in this week. I'm thinking going Parker for Dale. and Butters to Marshall and VC. We'll trade Cozzy, Track, Callahan, and Wilmot next week. Have 200.
4 trades.
So Corey, you're absolutely flying at the moment, because I know you're well inside top 1,000 and you're going really well. So, obviously, Parker and Fidal's a good trade. Yep, we like that. And then Butters to Marshall's a good trade with the VC. So you're looking very, very nice, mate. So keep up the good work there. And we've got another super chat here from Fresh Prince Oz. Thank you, mate. He says, start Jai Sarong or Hugo Hall-Kahan, Luke Clark, Campbell Lake, for 86 for Cozzy. So, Taze, what are your thoughts on that there? Would you start Sarong or Hall-Kahan? And then would you loop Clark's 86 on for Cozzy, who's expected to get the Foss tag?
Yeah, it's an interesting one because Sydney have actually been a decent side to their +2 matchup for rebounding defenders, but also Adelaide are usually okay for wingers because of how they play. They go down the line a lot, which means if you're on a hot wing, you can get a lot of the ball. So I think it's very much of a muchness. I'd probably back in Sarong because I think Sydney are probably going to win at home, and I like backing in guys who are going to be part of a winning side. And sorry, Bales, that's probably not fun to hear. And I would take the 86 for Cozzy. I'd be pretty surprised if Foss didn't tag Cozzy, and if he could still manage to get to 86. I think it's pretty safe.
Yeah, I'm a bit nervous about Cozzy this week and next week. I'm just hoping to get himself to 70, 80 and do what he did against James Jordan, but I guess we'll see how he goes. But yeah, I'd agree. Tom?
One thing I will say is the weather tonight in Sydney is forecast to be mixed. So I'm just, and this is kind of for people who say people. I'll be clear. This isn't for me. Whether I play Faro or HHK on field at D6, no looping possible. It's like it's a bit wet. Could that cap the halfback scoring with limited marks? / as I've said, Essendon naming 11 defenders. Somebody's gonna a few of them are gonna have to play further up the ground, and if Farrow's not in that back line, I really worry about scoring. Yeah, where would you guys suggest going there? I understand HSK probably has a slightly better matchup, but weather might make that tougher.
I probably lean slightly to Farrow just because it's the Giants under the roof, and I think that the Bombers, the last time they played the Giants, they nearly won. They were doing that chip mark around a little bit, so I think that they could do it again. I think Farrow's someone I think he's in defence. I don't see him being the one that shifted out. It could be like does Roberts go on ball maybe? I don't think so, but does someone like that go on ball? Does Connor Jones go to a wing? So I think Farrell will be fine, and Giants do give up some points to defenders. So I'm probably leaning there slightly, but Hawkan will probably have at least a couple of kick-ins and go quite well. Does anyone else have any differing thoughts on that one?
That makes sense to me. Also, I would say that there's often overcorrections in fantasy, but also in real life in football. So what might happen is Essendon had something ridiculous like 100 less disposals. I don't have the stats in front of me, but they barely possessed the ball, and that was reflected in their fantasy scoring. I wouldn't be surprised if one of the messages for their team kind of pre-match is don't give the ball away so easy. Let's hold the ball. Let's move it around. Because that's just often how things go with, correcting and then overcorrecting the other way.
Yeah. Brisbane had 131 more disposals last week, 424 to 293. So there's a massive, massive difference there. So, yeah, hopefully they keep the ball a bit more there as well. But, yeah, no, it's a tricky one with the two. I think either could go well, and hopefully they both can go well as well for you, Tom. Alrighty. We do have a couple of super chats. So we will get into what our current trades are this week. So I'll go from the bottom of my screen round. So Taezer, we'll start with you. What are your current trades this week?
So currently I've already locked in back Butters to Bailey Smith. I'm pretty happy with that so far. My second trade, I am pretty sure I'm going to go Zach Merritt to Lockie Whitfield. I do think Whitfield's going to do better, and seeing that Parrish has been omitted has made me think, okay, there's a few more CBAs there for Zach Merritt to get. So I don't think you have to get off Merritt, but I'm looking at, I feel like Merritt is going to have a bit of flux in his role. He's playing for a really bad team that are struggling to even get a hold of it, as we just discussed. So I think that I basically generate $100,000 by getting by going down to Whitfield, who I think, especially with Holmes out, is going to be, he's a nailed-on top six defender. Whereas Merritt, it's going to be role dependent. There's going to be more possibilities. Probably not where he's going to have 30s, but there might be some more weeks where, he's rotting on a half forward flank instead of in the guts.
Yeah, no, don't mind those moves at all.
If I can just put it to the group, if you had to choose between moving Josh Dacos or Merritt to Lockie Whitfield, which way would the group go? In a word,
I'm holding Dacos. So I'm if you're going between two, I'm Merritt personally, but
yeah. Tom,
different thoughts.
Yeah, I think I'm just Merritt. You're playing the break-even game as well. Like Merritt's losing a lot of cash this week.
Yeah.
Guesty?
Yeah.
Awesome. I don't have really anything more to offer than what the boys have already said. So yeah, I think probably Merritt's the way to go. But I guess that's the biggest problem in your team, is it?
I think that's the biggest problem that I can address with $0 in the bank. So Butters to Bailey Smith cleared out my bank, so literally at zero. So I do need to upgrade my D6, but I'm not going to be able to do it this week. So a sideways that generates 100,000 for next week is pretty useful. As opposed to, I could do a rookie down, and generate a couple $100,000, but that's not going to do anything for matchups this week.
Yeah. And Guesty, what are your trades looking like? Because I know obviously you're in Bali trying to figure out trades, and you're at the airport, like not sure what to do when 4 teams came out. So what did you end up doing?
Yeah, look, I ended up going, straight back, Butters to Baz, Ison down to Hamilton. That gives me a mid-forward, which I can then push into the forward line next week and trade out the rookie of the year for me, Ty Gallup. Cash that out. That's 524,000. Who would have thought, mate? But he's actually done all right for me. So, So that's. And then, pretty straight back.
Yeah, I like those.
No moves. Rookies on field. I think Darcy Cameron's the next one that's really got to go. But yeah, we'll see if we have any bullets this week.
Yeah, we've already got the one. I'm sure we'll probably get another couple before the end of the weekend. Tom, what are your trades this week?
Yeah, I've debated holding JHF today due to the Holmes injury. So you'll definitely have a rookie on field next week. I have no choice in the matter. But I think I'm just going to play the straightest of straight bats. Forward defensive of Butters to Baz, JHF to Rankin. I know about the tag this week, but I think Rankin's run is very nice. I think he's going to be a top 6 forward. I'm just locking that in while I can before more carnage hits going forward. Just trying to get as many good players as I can, and I'll deal with the bottom end of my team when I get a chance.
Yeah. No, I like it. And then my trades. So these are a little bit different. I'd had to adjust these because of last night. So Butters to Baz is locked in. I was pretty happy with that. I was doing that most of the week. But my second trade was JHF to Isaac Rankin. I'm not doing that anymore because of Artemis getting named. I did not think in round 19, with all the carnage that we got going on, that I would have no red dots to loot with. I've got 29 green dots. The only red dot was Banfield, who was locked out last night. Couldn't use him as a VC loot. I was a coward. I should have gone the straight captain on Marshall, but I didn't. I wanted to just have a look just in case, and I thought I could adjust if he went big. Of course he went big. I knew he was going big. He's my number one captain for the week, which will go into the other options if you didn't go Marshall last night. So at the moment, I've got Sam Banks out. I'm holding JHF to use as a VC loop, but the cover I've got is Ty Gallop, and he's my boy, but I'm not having Ty Gallop on field, unfortunately, as cover. So I'm going Sam Banks down to Liam Reedy from Carlton, obviously, pre-season Mr. Reedy at 424K. Solo ruck against Darcy Cameron. He's my 23rd, 24th, 25th player anyway. He's on the bench. I've got all rooks off field. I think it's the best thing for my team to lock in the 139. Hope Reedy can get a 70-odd score. And then I got JHF back next week. And I have 140K to play with in terms of getting Holmes to a defender and also upgrading a Petrarca or someone like that. So at the moment, that's what I've settled on. Dice Chuck was the other guy I did look at there as well. But yes, that is what I've done there. And I know Leah has just jumped in the chat saying 99.99% chance that Gallup will score more than Reedy. So, yeah, probably will. But I want the 139 VC looped, and I don't have any other way to get the score. So there you go. A few different trades. But, yeah, everyone's saying Gallup's going to score more than Reedy. I'm convinced that Gallup will not score more than Reedy. I'm like, no chance that's going to happen. But West Coast over at Optus, tough matchup, Tom.
It's going to be a bit greasy over here. They're
probably both going to score 50, right?
I've got nothing to add. I've got nothing to add. You've just got to get through this week, and if Reedy drops a 30, nod and smile. Can you loop those two?
What's that?
Can you loop Gallup and Reedy?
Well, no, because they play at the same time. So how they play Saturday night, and then I wouldn't be able to take the. It's the whole point of me keeping JHF is to get the 139 VC. That's the whole point, right? So, And at the end, there's a chance I go Rankin, just get Rankin in, and I just captain Sheasel. But 139 says
I personally think Sheasel and Rankin will outscore JHF. Marshall's 139 and Reedy, but that's my 2 cents worth. But you do what you want, Bales, and it could work.
Taze, any 2 cents as well, just to add to the 4 cents in total?
Look, if you go back to our pre-season podcast when Liam Reedy was very much in vogue and very highly owned in the pre-season, I was never high on him. I don't think he's that good. I was shocked when in our group chat the other day I said I don't think he's ever gone he's gone over 70, and apparently his last game he went over 70. But that's it. Like the rest of his career scores are in the 40s, 50s, and 60s, and that includes some games as sole ruckman. So I'm not feeling great about it for you, Bales. If you think the 139, I think 60 is pretty safe. So if you think he'll score that 200 points total is desired outcome, then that's okay. I think you could probably get a similar output from Rankin and Sheasel.
Yeah, I'm just looking at it going, well, if Reedy can get a 60, 70, Rankin I expect to get the tag, so I think you'll get an 80, 90, right? You're losing maybe 10, 15 points there. So it just depends, like, with Shees, right? How Shees goes, but I guess he is averaging like 120 for the season, right? So it's like 19 points less. You expect Rankin. So I don't know. It's a tough one. I just wish I did the straight captain last night and was done with it, but I just didn't want to go straight captain in case something bad happened. But yeah, I guess we'll see how it goes. Still an hour before the lockout happens there.
Let's move on. There's way too much Liam Reedy time.
Yeah.
Lee saying Bales, it's round 19, we can't be getting greedy. No, and I agree, right? But it's essentially it seems expensive rookie on my bench, right? Because I've got 22 preens with JHF. He's just missed this week. So not sure where I'll go, but we'll see. That's currently what I've got.
Bales, is there anyone else you kind of like or you could tolerate for a similar price on the Sunday? So could you see what no, you need to loop. So I was going to say, it'd
be Sharp, right? Dyson Sharp in that last game.
I mean, I like Dyson Sharp more than Liam Reedy, but
I wholeheartedly prefer Dyson Sharp.
Yeah. And in that, I was going to say, in that sense, I could actually, that might not be a bad play, because if Finn Callahan, who we saw miss training today, does miss, could put him captain. I could get Toby Green in for Oh no, JHF is locked out, so no, I couldn't do that. No, never mind. Anyway, we'll see what happens. So there you go. Captains for the week. So a little bit null and void for most people because a lot of people went the number one option this week. But the top 5 captains this week, if you want the rest of the top 10, you can check out the video from yesterday. But obviously, Ryan Marshall was at number 1. So good start to the week for the captains. 139. Obviously, it was a great matchup there. Harry Sheasel at number 2, up against Melbourne. The twilight game tomorrow. I think he'll go pretty well against Melbourne. I think is that game at Marvel or is that game at the G? Just have a look there. Is that game? That's at Marvel. So I think Sheasel will go pretty well. He's obviously been in great form of late. So yeah, I'd be looking at him there. Nick Dacos at number 3. Pretty close between Shees and Dacos this week. But Dacos does come in at number 3. Was pretty good against Carlton early this year with a 128 with Ollie Holland's tag, if anyone can remember back that far as well. So, yeah, I think Nick Dacos will go well once again after a little bit of a low one last week with a Foss tag. I do have Lockie Whitfield at number 4 up against the Bombers in his return game after concussion. I think he goes pretty big here. Scored a 125 against the Bombers earlier this year. And I think he'll go well once again. And we know the Bombers are leaking points. And I've got Will Ashcroft running at the top 5. Obviously, his last 4 have been absolutely amazing, all over 120. West Coast, a little bit easier the last sort of 5 or 6 weeks, give it a few extra points there. So they've gone from a harder matchup to sort of a mid-range to slightly easier matchup. So I think that he will go fairly well because if anyone's going to get the tag, it will be Lockie Neal. So, yeah, they are my top 5. And I think Taze and Tom, I think you guys both went the VC on Ryan Marshall and taking that. I got the VC on Ryan Marshall, and I want to take it. Everyone's telling me not to. Everyone's telling me not to get Liam Reedy. So it might be Harry Sheasel captain. So who knows where I'll be going there. I like that from Will saying this ain't VFL fantasy. Well, he's in the AFL side this week. So there you go. I'm going to be before we get to the super chats here from Tim and Will, I'm going to be annoyed if I don't do this and Liam Reedy comes out and becomes prime bloody Dean Cox and scores 110, and I'm going to be bloody annoyed if I change it. But anyway, let's get into the super chat. So we've got one from Tim asking about Banks or Tom.
I have one more option for you. If you don't need the cash, Cooper Harvey plays the easy Melbourne side. Join DC on that island. I think they're But do what you want to do, Bales. This is your team. And if it works, you can brag all the way.
Yeah. Oh no, he's 600. He's 603k. That's no. It's because Banks. It's Banks to someone. So it's yeah. No, that's too expensive. It's got to be like 570 or below if I'm doing that trade. Okay. So yeah, unfortunately they can't do that. Banks or Hall Khan on field, says Tim. I'm Hall Khan. I don't have any trust in Sam Banks at all. It's a good matchup again against Hawthorn, but no trust in Banks there. So I wouldn't be going him. And a super chat here from Will asking when Butters to Holmes. This week, yes, though, unfortunate there, Will. And a lot of people went Holmes this week and last week, so feel for you, mate, and everyone that's got Holmes as well. Other trade is Dale to Whitfield and play one of Fitzgerald, Sarong, and Hall Kahan, or go Goulden and play Sarong or Hall Kahan, no loop. Should I be concerned that Whit is named on the wing? I'll just answer that one with the Whitfield wing thing, Will. No, don't be concerned. He's all good. I wouldn't be too worried about that there. Tom, in terms of the other options there, so Dale to Whitfield, I think we'd tick off as well. But yeah, Fitzgerald, Sarong, or Hall Kahan on field, or would you go Goulden and play Sarong or Hall Kahan?
I think I'm Hall Kahan of Sarong, just because I think that Danker is a good matchup for Sarong, or a tough matchup for Sarong on that wing. I think they'll
agreed.
Might stop a little bit of his aerial prowess as that outlet kick on the wing. So I probably would go HHK. I'm just a little bit worried about Fitzgerald in a matchup that isn't Richmond. Given North is super hardy contested, which will help his game. I just worry about Fitzgerald's tog against a proper football team. Will that stop him from being able to get a score? That because in the previous game, he's been 54 and 59% these last two in the other two games, other than Richmond. So I'm more wanting a guy who might get a bit more time on ground because HHK has been pretty good after his first couple of games, I believe. So yeah, that's what I 84-79. It's a little bit more, and I just want people on the ground.
Yeah. I don't mind that shout as well. Alrighty, let's go through some more questions. Chris is asking, do I loot Campbell Lake and bench Petrarca? Taze, I think that you'd be saying yes, that one, I think.
Yep, definitely, 100%.
Yeah, wouldn't be playing track. I want to trade him, so I think we all do. So, yeah, no, for sure. I'll be doing that one. Darcy Bones Jones, I like that one there, like John Jones' nickname there as well from Darcy there. Hey, lads, do I hold Caleb Daniel? Unfortunately, traded him last week, last minute after a few beers. Depends if he's your biggest. I think it depends if he's your biggest issue, Darcy. He's got a good run. Melbourne's another good matchup again. I know we said it's about North Melbourne. They've got a good run. He's also got St Kilda next week. So it's back-to-back really nice matchups for him. So it really just depends. Is he your biggest issue? He's not top 6, I don't think, so he can trade, but at the same time, he's got some good matchups. So if you've got other issues, I think you can hold there. So I think no, Tom nodded his head. Taze, you anything to add there?
No, I'll just add that with all these top defenders going down, and Holmes getting injured as well, I think the difference between a guy like Caleb Daniel and then D6 is actually going to be less. Like, it's just going to get less and less, especially if there's any more injuries. So, I don't think you have to run out and trade him in this matchup. People were asking last week if they should trade into Daniel. I said no, but I got why people were doing it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I like Daniel, but unfortunately, the last couple of games have not been quite so fruitful. John Nichols says, "Hey lads, do I go Goulden/Heaney and Zorko/Parker, or do I bring in Rankin and throw Kirch to D6 if Hawkeye doesn't score well?" So, Taze, firstly, Goulden or Heaney, and then Zorko or Parker, and then we'll discuss what option you go. So, Goulden or Heaney?
Unfortunately, I don't have prices in front of me. What's the price difference between Goulden and Heaney at the moment?
So Heaney's 1.06 million. And Goulden is essentially 1 million, right? So it's about 60K difference between the two.
I think I'd go for Goulden with the uniqueness and knowing that he's building and he's getting back up there. I think Heaney will probably average more between now and the rest of the season, but 6 points. I don't think he'll average 6 points more. Yeah,
agreed. Zorko Parker, who would you go the two there?
I think I'd go with the safety of Parker. Zorko probably has the highest standard deviation. So he's going to play games where he gets good scores, but then he's the number one tag target. Like even this week against West Coast. Murdoch tagged Whitfield to a 50 odd. Why wouldn't or couldn't he or shouldn't he tag Zorko, who plays a similar kind of role?
Yeah, no, I'd agree. So he's saying this. So if he goes Goulden and then Parker, right? Does he go Rankin for probably Parker instead? Yeah, so I'm assuming he's going Goulden, and then would you go Parker, or would you go Rankin and throw Kirch to D6 if Hawkeye doesn't score well? So it really depends. Rankin or Parker?
Rankin or Parker? I think Parker this week, but Rankin, I really like Rankin's run the rest. So I think Parker, if you're going to get him, this is the week to get Parker. Whereas Rankin, I think you could probably wait and get him next week.
Yep. I like that as well. Power Bug says, I thought I was listening to a pre-season stream when tuning in, and the first thing I hear is Liam Reedy chat. I like that. I like that one, Power Bug. I like that one there. Power Bug says, thoughts on Riley Hamilton's 271K versus Essendon, Tom? What are your thoughts on Riley Hamilton? Are you happy to pay the extra, 40K to get the forward rookie in? Because we're not getting too many forward rookies to play at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, absolutely fine. Yeah, I think that was sent in the midst of our X3 Ruckman chat. So he was sending you options around that he would prefer to Freo's old second choice Waffle Ruckman.
Right. Well, I'm definitely not picking Riley Hamilton over Reedy if it is someone to be playing on field. That is for sure. Tex and right, you legends. Desperate times with 3 forced trades. I need Hawk undercover lead this week and some spare cash for next week. So Callahan or Oliver for Butters and Warner or Green for JHF. Well, I'd be crossing off Callahan with just the talk of him not finishing training today. It sounds like he'll be okay in terms of that's what Kingsy was saying, but it is the Bombers, so like they might just say have the week off, freshen up for next week. So that is a little bit of a flag there. So I'd probably go Oliver if you're looking this week, even though I would have said Callahan before hearing that. And then so yeah, Taze, would you go Butters to Oliver this week, or would you go JHF out to Green or Warner? I'm assuming you'd be just going Butters outright for the because Helen Front is back next week.
Yeah, I quite like Butters to Oliver. And what was the other one? JHF to
Toby Green or Chad Warner.
Toby Green or Chad Warner. I like Toby Green's matchup this week, but I'm just mindful of getting, his role hasn't changed. He's just playing quite well, and he's had some easier matchups. And those matchups are going to end fairly soon, and he'll probably, revert to the mean a bit. Whereas Warner has a good role and is also playing well. So I feel like that's more stable. What's the price difference? Warner's getting close to $1 million now, isn't he?
Warner's about 950 odd, whereas Toby Green's about 880. So there's about 70K difference between the two.
Yeah. Look, if you're looking for a little bit of uniqueness, I don't mind Toby Green, but just I would be wary of how many short-term plays you have in your team, because we think that Marshall might have to go out of our side in a week or two. There's probably a couple of other guys like Petraka. If his role doesn't change soon, then he's going to be a must trade. So if you add Toby Green in there, I'd be mindful of that.
Yep. I don't mind that thoughts as well. Apex Max says, thoughts on Butters to Will Ashcroft or Heaney? I have Baz already, Watkins or Hamilton. So, I'd be going Will Ashcroft, I think, this week. I think I like the matchup a bit better there. And then, Watkins and Hamilton. I'm not sure what the last bit is there. I don't know if you're going. You're already going Watkins down to Hamilton. So, I like that trade. And then I like the other trade as well. So, tick there for you, Apex. Will says, is it Goulden or Whitfield? I'm Whitfield this week against the Bombers. I think you go on there. And then that might give you the flexibility to trade Holmes to a mid maybe next week. Or if you just have to get defend, I'll just be getting Whitfield in this week against the Bombers. Belinda's question, if I bring in Whitfield, I only have 832K for a mid or a forward. Who's best? Thinking Caleb Sarong, Connor McDonald, Tuke Miller, or Sam Durham. Don't really like any of them, but C-Mac has 2 good matchups. 20K short of getting Rankin. So, Tom, which of those options do you like best? I'm assuming Tuke's probably crossed off with Gold Coast, and probably Durham slowed down a bit, so you're probably crossing here off maybe as well. So is it Sarong or McDonald for you?
Yeah. You know what? I think I might have, if you want to have a little bit of fun, having a punt on either C-Mac or Ginnivan. I couldn't split them because I don't know which one of them is going to score well. They both could score well, but trying to pick that Hawthorn Hart forward line is always hard. But as you said, 2 nice runs. I think I would rather clog up a forward spot and then trade to a better mid than clog up a mid slot if you don't have the upwards to wrong. I think
I think it just depends what your upgrade is next week.
Yeah. I just want to offer a little differing kind of point of view, because I genuinely considered Caleb Sarong this week. He has, the Port Adelaide SANFL team this week. Then he goes into West Coast. Then he goes into Bulldogs. Then I think he has Melbourne? Is it Melbourne D's? And that's a really good run. His Tog's just come back and he's off two tons in a row. And I think he's the least likely of the Freo guys to get a rest because he already missed, I think, 3 or 4 weeks with injury. So if anything, they're actually trying to play him into form. I think he's quite safe, and I think he's quite a shrewd. If you're trying to make cash, he's the straightest of the bats, more than Conor Mack or Ginnivan, even though they might be more fun.
Yeah, I like that one. Straightest of the bats. I like that one. It's a good one. What do we got here? John said, "Thanks, guys. That's how I'd fallen with my. That's how I've fallen with my trades. Appreciate the guidance. All good, mate. Thanks for asking the question there." Tia says, "Could you trade into Guinea or McDonald with the Hawks' good run?" So, Tom, you were just talking about that. If you had to pick one, it's almost like throwing a dart at the dartboard. Who would you pick if you had to pick one?
Probably McDonald because he's around the ball a bit more. Ginnivan is very much like an outside, high forward wing kind of role. McDonald's more around the ball, so probably C-Mac. But
yeah,
throw a dart.
Do we think Conor Mack might also get some increased mid time with Will Day out?
Yes,
possibly.
Yeah. No Nash, and no Will Day. I feel like he has to play a bit more mid. I don't know who else is going to come around the ball other than Connor McKenzie and Newcomb.
Yeah, Josh Ward. Yeah, they're the three. So like McDonald probably becomes the fourth guy this week. Yeah, I'd probably agree. So yeah, McDonald probably for that is a good shout as well. NJ says Whitfield and Field Fitzy or Errol and Luke between Holcahan and Banks.
Errol.
I think I'm Whitfield. Are you Errol? I think I'm Whitfield and Fitzy. I think I back Fitzy in more than the Luke, but
I don't. I might be I'm way cooler on Fitzgerald than a lot of the community though. So
I'm not expecting another ton again. I'm not expecting that. I just think Whitfield against the Bombers could be big. But then, yeah, Errol and Holcahan could be better, and you loop between Holcahan and Banks. So it's a tough one. Taze, where do you land?
So my cop-out one first would be to not get Errol, to find someone else under $1 million that you like. Because there's quite a few midfielders that are kind of, good. So I would not make the trade tonight. I would loop Holcahan, see what he does, and then that'll help you. Because if he scores an 85, then you go, okay, well, I'm getting the midfielder, or possibly you might be able to do some DPP. Like if you've got someone like Parker, or if you can put someone into your midfield, you might still be able to get Whitfield. So I would probably see what Holcahan scores first. At least, I think that's a good move.
Yeah.
Should be able to put Banks in the midfield.
If you can get Whitfield and Luke, then I would do that if possible.
Yeah.
We don't want to put Banks. You don't want to put Banks because Banks is part of your loop. So you're going to want another mid. Which if you need Parker really is the big one. Josh Dacos defender? No, he's defender only. If you've got Parker, then you can do that. Your Nass and your Holmes obviously locked out last night. You don't really want to move Banks because he's part of your.
Yeah, and if you want other options, well, if you don't want Errol and you want the other ones to have a look at Holcahan, you've got Clayton Oliver, who's 4K more than Errol. If you have got the 4K, but if you don't, Lockie Neal is 14K cheaper at 989K. You got Andrew Brayshaw, you've got Ed Richards, and then you've got obviously your your Parkers and your Whitfields and that in defence. So you've got a few options there to pivot. So NJ, I think for the loop, to have a look, go one of those options and maybe grab Errol possibly next week. Zoolander says, "G'day lads, would you bench Jacos, Parker, or Newman this week? Leaning towards Jacos due to matchup. I have 23 premiums and no red dot to loop. So that is a great spot to be in, Zoolander. So congrats on having the 23rd premium, mate. So Jacos versus Carlton, Parker versus Melbourne, or Newman versus Collingwood. Tom, how would you rank them? I guess for anyone that's looking to trade one of them in, possibly, how would you rank the three for what you think they'll score this week?
This week, it's not just this week, is it? It's what you think the best trades are for the rest of the year. I think I'm
Zoolander's asking obviously for the best score.
Yeah,
this week,
I think I'm parking Newman Jacobs. So I would bench Jacobs. One thing I will say though is if you have some kind of, I'm going to call LDU type, I have LDU at M8, and you can do some DPP shuffles to get all three of those on field and an LDU off, I probably would do that.
Yeah, great. Yep, I'd do that. But yeah, if you're picking between two, it feels weird saying Jacobs after how he went last week there. But yeah, I think Newman's got to be on field this week against Collingwood. I think he can go pretty well.
Yeah,
pretty well there. So yeah, exactly.
Josh Dacos has. Yeah, Josh Dacos has a really tough run coming up. Like I'm considering between trading out of Josh Dacos or out of Zach Merritt because of how bad his run is going forward. As impressive as he was last week, it's kind of crazy.
The only thing is his run, it's on paper looks bad, but when you look at them, look at it, I don't think it's as bad as probably what the matchups say. Like Carlton, obviously, I think that won't be as good, but North was tough last week as well, and he went pretty well, even though they have given up a few more points. Adelaide was a bit tough, but then Geelong have been giving up points to half-backs, and that's at the G, and then West Coast Optus.
They didn't last night.
Giving up points, so no, not last night. No. That was a GMHBA though, so that I think MCG's a lot better, and most of these games are at the G in the tough matchup. So I'm holding Josh Dacos. Like he's averaging 100 for the year, and defenders are falling like flies at the moment. So I think he's probably almost like top 3, top 4 the way we're going. But if you're benching one or trading one, Jacobs is the one with the tough run. So I'd agree with that there. Elijah, should I loot Pickett with Lombard just for fun?
Yes.
If you've got the ability to loot, why not? Yeah, well, if you got the ability, why not? Yeah, have a go. Why not?
One thing I will say. Oh no, North play first. Yeah, no, yeah, definitely. Why not?
Has Tholstrup been tagging lately? Worried about Sheasel? Said S locked. Melbourne haven't tagged for a long time, and Tholstrup's playing a defensive role. He's not even in the midfield anymore, so I'm not worried. And if anyone's getting your attention, it's still LDU. So
no, actually. Who was it there? Fitzgerald tagged last week.
Oh.
Yeah. I think, Who did he go to Taranto for parts? Is that who he went to?
Yes. Yeah, because Taranto got off the hook early, and I think Fitz kept him to like a 10-point last quarter or something like that.
Yeah.
But Taranto and Sheasel's outside hunger is very, very, very different. Yes. And it's going to go to LDU, if anything.
Yeah.
Agree.
Yep. What is it? NJ said AFL Ratings Pete just uploaded a photo of Callahan clutching his hammy at training. Did he just upload it? I'm having a look, but I can't see anything here. But that would be interesting if that is the case. Tex says, now I'm thinking, should I pay up for Ashcroft over Oliver for the run home? I'd go Ashcroft over Oliver if you've got the money, Texan. If that doesn't affect trades next week, I'd go Ashcroft over Oliver personally. Andrew's got this one. Trading Merritt. I'm looking at trading in Merritt or Garcia next week. Merritt 140 plus he reckons this week. So, Taze, that's not good news for you if Merritt's going 140 and you get rid of him this week.
Yeah, I don't know, mate. I'm still feeling a little bit unsure of which way I'm going to go with my trades, because I could definitely see, especially with Parashout, I feel like that's kind of thrown the cat among the pigeons a little bit. I already thought a bounce back was possible, and then seeing Parashout makes me think, well, there's probably 20 set of bounces up for up for grabs.
Yeah, No, I do see the photo Pete uploaded, by the way.
Yeah, I'm quite, and I said it in a group chat in the week. Merritt is a proud man. He won't want the footy public to think he's the kind of guy with down tools. So he's definitely not definitely going to bounce back, but he's going to have a point to prove. Zoolander. Sorry, I've just seen Zoolander's response. If you can hold JHF and play 22 this week, 22 premiums, I would hold JHF.
Yeah, because JHF is going to be something you want for the rest of the year. Yeah, you could do that. Yep.
Yeah. Especially if I just I just want to say, like, to anyone who's facing trading out homes next week, I would strongly consider, if you're happy with the bench option, or if you can run a loop, looking at can you hold JHF, just so you get out of this treadmill of constantly having multiple trade inability to upgrade your team kind of thing because you're just filling holes.
Yep, I like that as well. And we'll go final one here from Ben as well. Thoughts on Sick Dog as a pod? I don't think for me, Tom. I don't know if I'm going there. I know he's got 2 good matchups in a row, but
yeah, no, not for me. The easy ball for him isn't as consistent as it was in his pomp. Like in his pomp, he was the only person who was distributing off that back line. And yeah, I'm just not as keen. I'm just feeling a little bit trying to find someone of a similar price so you can have a flutter at if someone else wants to jump in while I find someone through.
Bales, who asked the question? What was the
Ben? Ben asked the question.
Ben. So Ben, I looked at it as well. I looked at his run and the fact that there was no aim on who's going to be the main distributor, and I thought there is a really good chance he pops. And I put it in the Fantasy Fanatic group chat, and I got absolute nothing. No one was interested. No feedback. And Tom's camera looks funny with the cat's tail kind of waving
that's it.
in front of it.
Oh, that's
like,
funny.
but
yeah,
like I'm just looking.
I think it's an option. I disagree. I think it's an option. I just think it's really high risk. So look at how many high risk plays you have, and if you want to have a bit of fun. But of all the guys, he's someone who could go 120 3 weeks in a row with that role and with those matchups. But he could also go 60s.
Do you know what I prefer? Jam and Impy, and he's cheaper.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, with no aim on.
With no aim on, Jam and Impy was averaging 90 earlier in the year, like 95 earlier in the year. He had a really good start to the year. He then got it. The only reason he's so cheap, he had an injured 26, working it in back week in the absolute monsoon against Carlton. If you want a Hawthorn defender, I think I prefer Jam and Impy to Sicily.
Yeah, I'd agree. I'm looking at Sicily's last 4, 58, 91, 63, 57. So three scores under 65 in his last 4. So yeah, I'd agree as well. And Tom's had enough. Tom's like, nah, the cats are too much on the desk. So there we go. We will be wrapping up there, though. We are approaching the hour mark there. So yes, so thanks, John, for asking all the questions there, and for those that put in the super chats. Well, apologies if we didn't get to your question there. Taze, your trades this week for those that missed it, and obviously you're locking the VC for Marshall away, so I don't need your captains.
Yeah, so absolutely locking away that Marshall VC. I brought in Baz Smith for Butters, so I'm pretty happy with that first part. The second part, I think I'm going to ruminate on for a little bit longer. It's either going to be Zach Merritt to Lockie Whitfield, or it's going to be Josh Dacos to Lockie Whitfield. I haven't decided. It probably how much cash it generates is an influencing factor, even though I think Zach Merritt is going to be good. So, don't know. Lockie Whitfield's joining. Haven't worked out which one is going out.
Ruminate is where I sort of was just thinking about. Ruminate was an interesting term. Just like not thinking, not pondering, just like I'm going to be ruminating about what I'm going to do. So I like that one there. Tom, your trades this week, and you're locking in the VC for Marshall as well.
Yeah, Baz and Rankin for JHF and Butters.
Yeah. And then I don't know if I'm blocking the VC for Marshall, because Butters to Baz is locked in. So I either take the 139 from Marshall and go Banks to Reedy and play Reedy for JHF covering, or I go She's captain and I go JHF to Rankin. So I'm undecided where I'm going with that one there.
You've got half an hour.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, thanks, Tom. But yes, thanks for tuning in. Taze, where can people find you across socials and your team name for foes?
You can find me at Taezer87 on X or Taezer's Titans on Foes.
Beautiful. Thank you, mate. Tom, where the people find you across socials and your team name for Foes?
Pom United, Tom_Hales_. Have a great week, guys. Let's hope for no more premium injuries so we can all do some trades we want to do next week, not ones we have to do.
Yes, exactly. 100% agree. And you can find me at BAILSDT across the socials. My team name is BAILSNARS for Foes, and you can find us at AFL Fantasy Fans on X. We'll be back on Sunday night, as always, reviewing the round that was. And then me and Tom will be back early next week for our next AFLW pod previewing the Defenders. And if you are doing AFLW Fantasy, haven't joined our Open League yet, the code is DF4J0WL. So DF4JY0WL. Make sure you join that and join in the community and have some fun starting in 23 days. So it's getting close. So looking forward to that one there. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Good luck this week. Good luck for round 19. Good luck with your trades. Good luck with your captains if you've still got a captain and play, or be happy that you've locked in that Marshall VC. And we'll chat to you guys on Sunday, hopefully with fingers crossed, no more goddamn injuries. So thanks everyone for tuning in. We'll chat to you on Sunday. Thanks everyone. See ya.
Bye-bye.
See ya.